Hello everybody, welcome back to another Survival Science STEM with Mr. C. That's right, we are doing part 5 Survival Science. We're actually going to cook some more food. If you missed the last one where we cooked a hot dog using nothing but steel wool and a 9-volt battery, you're going to want to click right up there. And so that one was pretty cool. And this one's actually going to be a little more functional. We're going to make a solar oven. We're going to use the power of the sunlight to warm and heat our food. Let's talk about a quick safety thing before we get into the materials. Number 1, please don't use any raw meat. If you're planning on cooking a big old fat ribeye, or like top sirloin or filet mignon.
Oh, you think you fancy?
Whatever. This is not going to be the oven for you, right? The oven gets hot, but it's not going to get that hot. And so what we're actually going to be cooking today are s'mores, right? So we've got graham crackers, marshmallows, and of course, chocolate. Now, I understand, you guys look at the chocolate and you're like, whoa, 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 that's not Hershey's chocolate. I personally believe that this Ritter Sport chocolate is some of the best chocolate you are ever going to have. They sell it all over. I actually bought this at Furcrest down in Sebastopol. And I get my steady supply of Ritter Sport as well as other fantastic European chocolates at the Santa Rosa European store. And there's the map and there's the address right there. Again, no, they didn't pay me to say that. I've just been in there a lot and they've got some great stuff, especially chocolate and candy. So that's what we're going to be cooking. And our solar ovens do get hot, but again, it's not going to be hot enough to like cook hamburgers or hot dogs on it. Okay, let's talk about our materials first. And you know how we do it, right? We talk about the materials. We build it, we do the experiment, and then we talk about what's happening. So to make our solar oven, we're gonna need a box, okay? Now, any sort of box will do, pizza box, Amazon box, whatever. I actually have some of these boxes left over from Doodle Crate, right? There's these little boxes, and they're like little tiny solar ovens that we're gonna fold up and make a solar oven. So I have a regular one just painted, well, not painted, and then I painted another one black, right? And I just kind of want to see which one's going to work the best. Okay, so you're going to need a box. Larger the box, the better, but small box works just fine. You're going to need some aluminum foil. You are going to need some either cling wrap. You know I don't like cling wrap, but it actually does serve a purpose here. Well, Siri, I'm not talking to you right now, am I? I'm talking to my YouTube followers, not you. Okay, thank you. All right. You know how I hate cling wrap, but we're gonna use it here. You could also use a plastic bag. You just cut it, and that's gonna be for our window. So that's helpful. Pair of scissors, always helpful. You are gonna need like a box cutter or some sort of knife. You can get away with scissors, but a box cutter does help. Ruler to make a straight line. I'm using a pen, but a pencil works just fine. Tape, or you may use glue, either one is fine. And then like a black piece of paper, right? And this is gonna be what we're gonna put our food on. This is kind of what's gonna absorb a lot of the heat. As we learned in our water, where we did a solar water heater episode, we learned that black absorbs a lot of light, which then gets converted into thermal energy or heat, which then warmed up the water a lot faster. If you missed that one, it's right up there. All right, just click there, and it's a pretty cool episode. All right, I think that's really all we're gonna need. So let's go ahead and let's get started. All right, so I've got my box. Now, most of you may have a regular box. If you took one of my science kits, then you have this Doodle Crate box here. And so the biggest thing is we're gonna have to like put it together. Which is really easy, we just fold it. But before we do that, right, if you have your box laid out perfectly like this, we're actually ahead of the game right here, and this is gonna be great. And so what we're gonna do first is we're gonna cut our flap, right? So the way I'm looking at this box, and I'll just kind of put it together for you and show you, right? Here's the box, this folds up. If you've never put together a box, it's a lot of fun. And so what we're gonna do is there's the sides, this comes over. And so what we're end up doing, right, here's the top of the box. We actually need to make a little flap here. And what's cool about this is our little Kiwi crate, Doodle Crate, already has this nice little line for us, right, that we're gonna follow. So I don't need to really draw anything. It's really cool. If you're using a pizza box, Amazon box, Target box, Lego box, whatever you're using, on the top flap, right, here's the top flap, you are going to cut another flap here. And so it's going to look like, I will show you this, right? It will look, this is where as the heat is going to come into our solar oven. So it's going to look like this. All right, and you can see my lines right there. So anywhere where I drew a line, I'm going to cut there. I'm gonna leave this flap here because I want that to flap open, right? I want that to flap open because that's where the heat's gonna go in. And so right now, all I'm gonna do, I'm gonna unfold my box, and now I'm just going to make my cuts. So go ahead and cut that flap. Remember, cut 3 sides, leave that side, leave it uncut because we're gonna need to flap that. All right, here we go. All right, and so now, again, I didn't cut all the way through because I don't want to cut into the table. And so now I'm just going to, I made a little cut there. I'm just going to, there we go, beautiful. Doesn't need to be perfect, but it does need to be large enough because this is going to be basically the primary source of our heat. The sun needs to come in through there. So if you make the flap too small, not enough sun and heat is going to come through. If you make it too large, I don't know if you can make it too large other than just having the box open. But just cut a flap like that. And let's see what that looks like. Here we go. Pop it open. And it's going to look just like that. So now watch what happens, right? I peel this back and you can kind of see this kind of ripping and lifting up. So this is where you're going to take a ruler or take your hand and you really just got to fold that cardboard, making a hinge. All right, so it's just going to hinge backwards like this. And if it's not perfect, that's fine, right? I'm trying to get it to be nice and level, but it's not cooperating with me, and that's okay. So it's gonna look like that. Okay, so that's the top of our box. Okay, next step, since we already have this open, which is really nice for us, all we have to do, we're gonna cover everything in aluminum foil. And so that's gonna be really cool because that is gonna reflect all of our heat. And so really here, the best thing I would do is you can just put your aluminum foil, and this is if you have your box already open, okay? This is the cool thing with aluminum foil, you can just do this, lay it flat, and then all you're really gonna do is just trace around here, okay? That's gonna be one of the best ways to do it. If you don't wanna do that, another easy way is just cut out little squares of aluminum foil and paste them here. To me, this seems the easiest because I already have my box already open. And so now all I really have to do is just trace around and now I've got a perfect liner for my box. Okay, so there that goes. So now all I'm going to do is just cut my aluminum foil. All right, so I cut my aluminum foil out, and now here's the cool thing. I'm just going to lay it on top of my box. So now here, you can make a decision whether you want to glue this or tape this. So gluing is going to be fine. I'm not going to use a lot of glue. You can use some paste is fine. I've got some tacky glue. Tape works just as well. The glue sticks work just fine. One thing we are going to have to do, so you notice we have a little flap here, so we're going to have to cut a little flap there, but that's going to be the easy part. So right here I'm just going to put some glue just right here. Doesn't need a lot, and this is good tacky glue. Elmer's glue works fine if you use that glue sticks. That'll work really well too, because it's going to actually really dry well, and it prevents your aluminum foil from slipping and sliding around, which is, we don't want that. There we go, I'm pretty good with that. And now all we have to do, now you do want to make sure, right, I've got my shiny side and I have my kind of dull side. You're going to want that shiny side up because that's what's going to reflect. And now, right now, just do your best to try and lay it over this, right? No matter how well you cut this out, no matter how well you plan it, it's still not going to fit perfectly. And it doesn't really need to, right? All we're doing is just creating a reflective surface for the sun rays, that sunlight, to bounce off of, okay? I feel pretty good about that. Look at that. That stuck really, really nice. So that does help having a little bit of glue there. And then now if you want to tape, right, tape down some of the edges, that's fine too. Really secure that. You don't want that foil falling off. There we go. And once you start folding it, you're going to notice it starts to kind of get crinkly. That's okay. As long as it doesn't come off of the box, we're fine. So I'm just going to make some little adjustments here, taping the foil onto the box, just like that, while that glue dries. And then we're going to cover this part right here, which we already made the flap for the top of the box. So now we just need to cut out a little bit because that is going to be one of our reflective surfaces right there for that sun. So let me make one last little tape here. Beautiful. Okay. So now all we have to do is, remember we have our flap, so let's turn it over. So you remember our flap right here. All right, so now what we want, all right, see right there, you see my glue right there? So we need to make sure that's gonna stay. So now all I'm gonna do is just gently cut, because I've already made the cut. I've already made this cut on my flap. So now all I'm doing is just giving that aluminum foil someplace to go as well, just like that. So that is going to be really, really important to have that. Now I really want to make sure that stays, so I am going to put a piece of tape, just like that. Beautiful. Beautiful. Oh yeah, that's nice. All right. Awesome. And I'm gonna do one more side here. And then we're just gonna construct our box, right? And that's just gonna be fairly easy. And there we go. So there is our reflective box. Now, one last thing. This is where we're gonna cook the food. So we're gonna make a little bit of a cooking area for it, and we're gonna use what's called a heat sink. And this is a place where all of that heat is going to get concentrated, and that's what's gonna also cook our food, right? So that's gonna be a little big. So I want this area to be where I'm gonna place my food. So now I'm just going to kind of measure and just kind of figure out. I don't really need it that big, so let's go ahead and measure our, it's 5.5 inches. That's 7 inches. Measure it if you want, you don't have to. Just a nice black square right there, okay? So that is what I'm gonna do, and I'm just going to eyeball this. Beautiful, that's gonna be my heat sink. And now I'm just gonna cut this out. All right, and that is where that's gonna go, right there. And now I'm just going to glue this a little bit. Tape works just fine too, but a little bit of glue. I don't want this going anywhere. And why not have a little bit of fun? Put a little happy face on there. Why not, you know? All right, sorry, Mr. Happy Face. Okay, perfect. And that is where our food is gonna sit, right there on this black piece of paper. Because remember, we did learn that black is a fantastic, a little glue there. Black absorbs all of the colors of the light spectrum, which then gets turned into heat, which then obviously heats up water, and we are gonna use it because it's gonna heat up our food. And this just provides, this heat sink provides a nice area for that, all that energy to just kind of warm up and cook our food from the bottom. So now here's the interesting part. We just gotta kind of finagle this box, all right? And this is gonna be interesting, right? So I didn't cut this, and now I'm just going to, anywhere where you didn't cut the slits where the box opens up, you're gonna probably wanna do that. You'll find it'll pull just like that, and just real gently, there we go. All right, so now, where are you going? Where are you going? And again, this is gonna be somewhat interesting to do, trying to fold a box with a bunch of aluminum foil on it. But again, do your best, right? Do the best job you can. And there we go. Just like that. Now, something I don't like, I don't particularly like, actually this will work just fine. I don't really like these flaps right here. I think this is something you're gonna do. As I'm looking at it, I'm like, man, that's really gonna close off my box. And what I'll show you, is this is really gonna reduce the amount of light that gets in there, right? And so I don't need these things. So as you open and close your box, you may look at it and go, I don't really need that. That's just kind of extra stuff. And so that's what I'm gonna do. I'm just gonna cut this off. So feel free to adjust your box, because we really want our little sunroof here. That's where all that light is gonna come through. We really need that to have a clear view of what we're doing, right? We need the sunlight to come beaming right through there. Okay, our next step, we are gonna take our cling wrap before we assemble the box, right? So we started to assemble it. I wanted to look at a few things, and then so just kind of look and go, let's take a look at what I just did. So I have this folded, there's that. Let's take a look. And that I think is gonna work a lot better. That is, yeah, see, that's gonna work so much better, because now, look at that, I've got a nice view and nothing is really getting in the way of that. So that's perfect, right? I like that, and we'll just have to tape up the box. So, beautiful, I'm happy with that. Our next step is we're gonna have to put a layer of plastic wrap. And that's gonna be to, one, keep our heat in, and two, to let the sun come through. So if we just have it open, that's fine, but then all of our heat is going to escape, and we don't want that, right? We want all of our heat to stay in the oven. So let's go ahead and take, and you know me and plastic wrap, we do not get along. So just do your best job here. Hey, look at that, it worked. Amazing, first time out. All right, and you really want this to be really nice and tight, okay? So whatever you can do to get that tight, and also you don't want any gaps. So you want this to be completely taped up, okay? So you don't want any air getting through there. You want that to be, so what I recommend is you tape one side of your plastic wrap, tape a second side, all right, just like that. And you want to make sure that's taped all the way up. And then now you can stretch it out however you want, all right? You can stretch that out and then just stretch and then tape it down. There we go, stretch. And then I'm gonna fold this in a little bit and then tape it down, just like that. Perfect. And if it's a little wobbly, it's fine, it's not gonna hurt anything. There we go, and that's gonna be pretty good, right? I like that. And I'm gonna do one more on the top too. I want a double layer of my plastic wrap. If you're using, you can do this with plastic wrap if you're using a plastic bag. Works just as fine. You can even do a double layer, and that's gonna really insulate your oven. It's gonna keep the heat in while allowing you to look at your delicious food being cooked. All right, and I'm just gonna do this again. Okay. And hey, look at that. And then I'm just gonna make sure this is folded up. And then we're just gonna do the same thing. We're going to put this across, and so now we have a nice little double layer. So again, however you tape this, that's fine. It doesn't need to be perfect. You just need to make sure that it is sealed up, so no air is going to get through there. So again, what I do, I tape one side, boom. I'm gonna tape the other side, just like this. I'm gonna pull it tight. I'm even gonna roll it, pull it tight. Perfect. Okay, one more. And now I've got this, and now just seal this up around the edges. Perfect. Perfect, perfect, perfect. All right, and then I've got one little area back there I want to take care of. And so what I'm doing is I just taped right here, and I've got my plastic wrap edging out over here, and I'm just gonna pull it and then tape it around the back. All right, I'm pretty good with that. Look at that. There we go. So there is our double layer of insulation. And now all we need to do is put the box together. So I'm gonna do that right now. And now, and even these flaps right here, I don't even really need these little flaps right there. So that's just gonna bother me. We don't need that. And this is where you can just decide. There we go, perfect. All right, now our solar oven is pretty much ready. And all we'd have to do now is I would just tape this down, right? Because it's gonna pop up a little bit. You see it pop up? So I would just tape this down. You don't need to use duct tape or anything, just nice tape. Just a little bit of Scotch tape to hold it down. Now, I've got one done. I'm gonna do my other box, my black box that I painted. And then after I get it assembled, I will come back outside. We'll come outside with me, and then we're gonna cook some s'mores. Don't go anywhere, I'll be right back. All right, everybody, looks like we are ready. I have my two solar stoves. I got my black one right here, and I have my regular cardboard one right here. And so let's go ahead and make our s'mores. And I mean, I don't need to tell you guys how to do that. You just take a piece of graham cracker, and then you put some chocolate. Now I'm only putting 2 cubes there of Ritter Sport because this stuff is really good. And then let's go ahead and take our marshmallow, put it right there, and boom, put it right there. And then last but not least, we take our other graham crackers, and then we're just going to push it like that. Now, what's really cool is it's actually really cold in this office, in my little studio that I'm in. And when we get outside and we actually seal this up, it's gonna get warm real quick. Today's supposed to be a high of 80 something. So I am really excited to see how well this is gonna cook. All right, let's go ahead and grab our solar ovens, our s'mores, or whatever it is that you are cooking. And I will meet you guys outside. All right, what's up everybody? So here we are, and I've got my solar ovens ready to go. And let's go ahead and take a look here. There we go. So I want you to notice something, right? So my sun, I'm not gonna point the camera at the sun, it's not gonna help anything. But look at see this little flap here? See how it changes? Now look right there, see how that flashes? Right, so that's reflecting, and that's what we want, right? So if it's just closed, it's fantastic, but watch, I really wanna position that flap where it's getting the best, right, where it's shining directly in there, right? And so it's not just gonna stay by itself. What you're gonna have to do is put a piece of tape and just tape it open like that. And so here's our other one. All right, we're just gonna fold this down, fold it down. There we go. And see, and then my s'more fell. Just gonna smush it down. There we go. Perfect, just like that. Like that. No, I didn't want to stay. That's fine. That's okay. That is okay. Perfect. There we go. Okay, gonna crinkle that down. One more time. Come on. There we go. All right. So then the same thing, right? We're gonna make sure that this is reflecting, and you can really see, right? See the difference? We want that focused right there. Okay, so what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna put my camera down so I can work on this, because it's obviously not terribly cooperating with me. So let's go ahead and do that. All right. And put it right there. So if you want to tape it, that's fine. So I'm actually gonna tape my oven closed. because, well, I want all that heat to stay in there. It doesn't require a lot of tape. One little dab of Scotch tape works just fine. And then I'm gonna find the optimal, right? And you can see I can really, shining right in your eyes. Yeah. So I'm gonna find the optimal spot for that, which is about right there. And I'm just gonna really, I mean, you can use a straw, you can use whatever. I found that just a piece of tape does just fine, right? Especially like a nice piece of Scotch tape. Does just fine, holds it up just as good. I'm gonna do the same thing here. Tape this up. Again, I recommend Scotch tape and not duct tape because you don't want to rip off the box. That would not be good. And the same thing, I'm gonna direct my, right there. Oh yeah, that's nice and bright. And then I'm gonna pull it down and perfect. Oh, now it's already hot here. I can already feel that sun beating down on me. And so if it's beating down on me, it's gonna beat down on our s'mores here. So, cool. Now we just need to wait, depending on how hot it is, right? Today's already gonna be a hot day, about 80s, I think. I would check back in about an hour or two. Now, the longer you leave it in there, the longer the oven is gonna cook, the longer the heat stays in there. Leave it in there all day if you want, but really about an hour or two, come back and then check. So we're gonna come back right now in about an hour, and we're gonna see how our solar ovens are doing. All right, don't go anywhere. See you later. All right, everybody, here we are, and we are gonna check out our s'mores. They've been cooking for about 2 hours. So let's bring them in the lab and check them out. All right, and you know what? I have my certified s'mores tasters here that I just, ooh, look at that. I have my certified s'mores tasters here, and it looks like we have none other than AP, and we have the OC. Okay, all right, so let's go ahead and let's take a look. All right, so let's go ahead and, what do you think? That's pretty,
yeah, it's pretty warm.
That's pretty warm.
It's warm.
All right,
Ooh.
pretty warm. All right, let's go ahead and let's open them up here.
Whoa, that's cool.
Now this is the I didn't paint this box. Ooh. You put your hand in there and you can, and the cool thing, look at the discoloration. You see, look at that. So that was the original color.
Ooh,
and yeah.
Oh, it's hot. Oh.
Oh, now I put a thermometer in here.
That's hot.
That thermometer is not going to do anything because it's just, is it pretty? Yeah, that's.
Where is the thermometer?
That's warm.
Oh, it's like over 100.
All right, now let's look. Oh, look at that chocolatey mess right there. Look at that.
Good.
Chocolate.
So this definitely, and we can, it didn't really, I mean, it softened the marshmallow, but really what we're looking for is not dripping chocolate on the table. That's all right. So Owen's gonna take a taste. Sorry, the OC is gonna take a taste.
My name is not Owen. It's the OC.
The OC, I'm sorry. All right, let's see, go ahead and take a taste. What do you think?
That's a s'more.
It's a s'more, right? Pretty good. And this is used with Ritter chocolate, by the way.
Oh, Ritter Sport?
Ritter Sport chocolate. See, the boys know. The boys know what's up.
Yeah.
AP and OC knows what's up. You're licking. Are you licking the chocolate? Wow, that's one way to do it.
You got more Ritter Sport?
I do have a little more.
Where?
So what do you guys think? Is that a pretty good melty s'more right there?
That is awesome.
All right, and so one of the questions that you're gonna get is like, how hot do these ovens get? Anywhere between 120 and 200 degrees Fahrenheit. And so one of the things we're learning about is obviously insulation, but also the insulation is really gonna be from the cardboard of our box. Now we could definitely insulate this a little better by putting maybe foam on the outside to try and keep that heat in. But we're also learning about conducting heat, and that's what our foil here is. Our foil is gonna conduct that heat, and really it's just gonna bounce around in here, and that's essentially creates heat, and that heat bounces around and warms up our chocolate and also warms up our marshmallow. That's really good.
Ritter Sport.
Now, throughout the day, right, because I left it in there for about 2 hours, and I didn't show you this, you are gonna have to adjust your your window pane right here. You're gonna have to kind of look at where that light is hitting it and the sun, right? So you want to, so you can even see right there, I'm kind of, so you want to make sure that's always, sunlight is in direct contact with your food right there. And we didn't really talk about the heat sink. And again, that's just a great way, because all of that heat is going to converge right there on that black piece of paper. It's going to warm it up from the bottom. And so really, this is a great way. The larger the solar stove, the more heat it's going to create. So you can make a fairly large one using a pizza box. A shoebox works fine. But experiment with this, right? What are some other things that you can use besides foil? What do you guys think? What are some things we can use besides foil? What else?
Cling wrap.
What's that?
Cling wrap.
Cling wrap, but what else reflects a lot of light?
Flex tape.
Flex tape. Ooh, flex tape would be good to like insulate it.
Now that's a lot of damage.
Ooh, that would be good.
Flex tape.
Using flex tape. What about a mirror? What if we had little tiny mirrors, like
Not a bad idea.
little tiny craft mirrors? So that's another way you can really soup this up, is maybe putting, instead of foil, you can put a bunch of little craft mirrors there and really focus that
And
thermal
flex
energy.
tape.
Flex tape around the side. So this is this is just your basic how to make a solar stove. That's a lot of damage. This is your basic solar stove. Now, if you guys want to take my design and run with it, absolutely fine. If you want to just make the solar stove and cook some s'mores, maybe melt some cheese, definitely do that. All right, hey, this has been Mr. C, Survival Science number 5, the solar oven. So I hope you enjoyed it. Unfortunately, I didn't get to eat any s'mores, but I still have some Ritter Sport chocolate somewhere.
Hey.
I'm gonna eat some right now.
Me too.
All right, good idea. Me too. All right, bye, guys.